It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. Take a look at the 5 and 10, glistening once again, with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, but the thing that'll make them ring is the carols that you sing right within your heart. Silver bells, silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ting-a-ling, hear them ring, soon it will be Christmas Day. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Oh, you sound good. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. On every street corner you'll hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, ching-a-ling, hear them ring, soon it will be Christmas Day. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Toll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa-la-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, fa-la-la-la. I never can help it, la-la-la-la.
All right, good morning, New Dawn, and all our family and friends. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Nancy. I still keep doing that, I don't know why. But anyway, and thank you, Karen. That was so fun to sing Christmas carols, wasn't it? Yeah, it's kind of get you in the mood a little bit here today. So I just want to welcome you all here, and I see some old faces, not old people,
Not
but old
old,
faces.
really.
Faces I've known from a long time ago. And then some new faces we have today. So if you're new today or haven't been here for like years, please raise your hand. We'd just like to say welcome. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. So good to have you all here. We're just so pleased to have you. And so we appreciate you coming to celebrate the Christmas Eve afternoon with us. So we just want to mention to you, too, that we do have a hospitality service out there, lots of goodies, some coffee, tea, water. And so please stick around afterwards and visit and give us a chance to get to know you a little bit and say hi and have some goodies. There's all kinds of goodies out there. And there are some gluten-free options as well, so just so you know. Okay, so we're all set there. So I just want to go into prayer here, and we'll just kind of set the stage before Reverend Jen comes up to do her portion of the program. So if you would all just take a moment, take a deep breath, and just close your eyes and put your feet flat on the floor. Just feel the earth beneath your feet. Just breathe in that beautiful air that just keeps our bodies flowing and growing. Just know that this time of year is just a special time to remember family and friends, even more so than we do during the rest of the year. And knowing that it is a reminder to do more of that during the year, to appreciate those people around us, those people who mean so much to us, to let them know many times during the year, to give them our love, to check up on them, to make sure that that communication stays open. That is so important. And we know that God is within all of that. And God is here today, as every day, in every way, no matter where we are. But we feel that presence, particularly right here and right now, as we celebrate Christmas Eve. So we know that as we come together as community, that we are so blessed to be here together, to have a warm place to gather, to have plenty of food, to have gifts for one another, to have time together with family and friends. So we don't take that lightly. We are in great gratitude for all of our blessings, and we remember them each and every day. So as we celebrate today, we also are so grateful for all the people in this community who bring this all together. We have our volunteers, we have our hospitality, our sound technicians, we have our music, Karen Karsh, we're so blessed to have her. We have our ushers, and we have our beautiful practitioners. And of course, we have our lovely Reverend Jen. So we are so blessed in this community to have all of that and so much more. So as we remember this and remain in deep gratitude, we say together, and so it is. Amen.
I wrote this song a long time ago. Because every Christmas and every holiday is so much fun and everybody thinks about giving, isn't that right? And then when it's gone, what happens then? Holidays are good times, you know they are. Let those holiday lights shine. And holidays are glad times, you know they are. Because we've all got giving on our mind. But what happens when the giving's done? And everybody says thank you. We forget that giving heart, and that's the most important part. Just think of what love can do. I wish that every day would be a holiday. Could share. You know, if every day were a holiday, reaching out to show how much you care. If every day were a holiday, think of all that we could do. Then the world would be better for me and you. Holidays are joyful, you know they are, 'cause of family and friends. Holidays are glad times, you know they are. This feeling never has to end. when the tinsel's gone and the lights go out, then it's up to me and you not to forget our giving hearts. That's the most important part. Always remember what love can do. I wish that every day would be a holiday. Think of all the love we could share. If every day would be a holiday, reaching out to show how much we care. If every day would be a holiday, think of all that love can do. Then this world would be a better place for me and you. Talking about a holiday that will last the whole year through.
So let us take some time this afternoon and let us reflect on stories that we've heard over the years. I'm going to offer an ancient writing. It's going to be so familiar, and yet it might have a little bit of a different spin on it than what you've heard. Because we've heard the stories of old over and over again. We've heard a variety of them. And what we're looking at today, or what we're listening for this afternoon, is to capture that essence of what this holiday is about and what it can mean to us, not only what it meant in years ago, but what it means to us today. So much of the story begins in the Hebrew scripture, and then we move into the New Testament scriptures for the other part of the story. So just settle in and be here now, present in this space, right here, right now. Open your hearts and your minds to hear the message maybe a little differently than you've heard it before. You see, a very long time ago, the entire world spoke the same language. It was the language of love. There were people created in many sizes and shapes. There were different colors and races. But there was one language, the language of love. And what would happen with humankind, as it often does, is one day the people began to notice that some of them looked a little different than others, that some of them did things a little differently than others. And so they decided that this wasn't quite right. And they wanted to gather together all the people who were more the same and disregard the people who didn't quite look like them. They were disgruntled. They were disappointed. They were annoyed. And they got this great idea. And the idea was to build a tower into the heavens where they could be like gods. And then they could stand on the tower and let everyone around them see how different they truly were. They could create a name for themselves. They could do whatever they wanted in this situation. Spirit was very aware of what was going on. And Spirit said to them, when people forget to speak the universal language of love, and they fail to see that they are all one, they unleash fear. You see, the people had lost sight of their connection. They'd lost sight of their inclusivity. They embraced an idea of separateness. Spirit, with all that incredible wisdom, confused their language. And people who were in conversation and able to understand each other in a moment could no longer understand each other. And chaos ensued, and challenge ensued. And the people began to spread out around the world because they could not understand each other. And they began to wander in this confusion and in darkness. They began to fear everyone outside of themselves. Years passed. There was war. There was prejudice. There were many feelings of isolation. But what was needed for the people was a light to come and help them see the truth of who they really were. Because deep within each person was buried this beautiful language. They just lost sight of it. We're told of a story that one night, a star appeared over a small town of Bethlehem. This light had actually shone since the beginning of creation. It was the same light that called to Moses from a burning bush, and the same light that illumined the wisdom of Buddha. It was the same light that burned in the oil in the miracle of Hanukkah. The same light illumined many who gave it their attention throughout the centuries. And today, even today, this light still burns. It shines on the beauty of diversity, and it leads us all to consider and remember the language of love. Even today, we forget who we are, just like the people of old, and we fall short of speaking our common language. We forget when conditions look differently. We see and experience violence. We allow it to impact the light in our hearts, and what we do in that moment is we shut it down. We try to protect it. We try to withdraw, and we try to move away from the things that we are fearful of. We forget, again, that we are connected by a powerful light. It calls each one of us to come alive, and it can guide us through our darkest hours. I have a quote from Anonymous that says, "You may think your light is small, but it can make a big difference in other people's lives. Let your light shine." So part of the message today is for each of us to remember we are called to shine our light, to let ourselves take a stand and be all that we can be, to be more than we ever imagined we could be. Let us today, during this season of light, illuminate the world with purpose and our internal light. Let us shine it on everything and everyone around us. You see, we have a responsibility to touch the lives of others. As we continue the story, we are told of an angel by the name of Gabriel. Gabriel was sent from God to Nazareth to meet with a woman who was known as a virgin by the name of Mary. The angel came to Mary and said, "Rejoice, O highly favored daughter. Spirit is with you, and blessed are you among women." The angel said to her, "Don't fear. Do not fear. You found favor with God. You shall conceive and bear a son, and give him the name Jesus." Mary said, "How is this possible? I do not know man." And the angel answered, "The Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High shall overshadow you. For you see, nothing is impossible with God." My dear friends, this is an ancient story, and yet it is our story today. You see, there is an angel voice within each and every one of us. It knows what to do if we listen, if we follow it. It is the voice called intuition. It is a still, small voice that knows life is limitless, and fear and doubt are not reality. This voice knows only possibility. This voice knows connection, peace, and love. You see, your intuition is your inner compass. It is always here to guide you. Mary, in the story, represents our pure soul just waiting to manifest our thoughts. As Mary pondered the words of the angel, we too ponder and listen to our inner voice. Mary also represents the divine motherhood of love, waiting to give birth to this still small voice. Arupa Tessalan gives us this quote today. Intuition happens when the choreography of the infinite dances into an unsuspecting mind. What a beautiful message that is for each of us today. That the divine is dancing. It is inspiring us. It is giving us insight and information, and it is giving us that beautiful voice within that we call intuition. In those days of Caesar Augustus, a decree was published ordering a census of the world. Joseph traveled to Bethlehem to register with his new wife Mary, who was with child. While they were there, her days of confinement were complete. She was ready to have the baby. They needed a room for her to rest. They needed a place for them to be. And all of the rooms in all of the inns were full. But an innkeeper felt compassion for Mary and Joseph and offered them space in his stable. Mary gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger. What does this mean to us today? Well, when we are accepting of other races, other cultures, beliefs, and lifestyles, it brings us back to a world of oneness. Acceptance means you know that regardless of circumstances, there is something greater at work in our lives. Acceptance is all about accepting oneself and knowing we must be who we are authentically. When we make room in the inn of our hearts for one another, we become ultimate expressions of our higher divine self. When we celebrate and accept diversity as God-given, we realize it is our greatest strength. It is powerful to remember we are all made of God's image, yet we are very diverse. We are created to be brave, loving, and accepting of one another. The quote and message we have for us today from Shannon Alder is, when you stop living your life based on what others think of you, real life begins. At that moment, you will finally see the door of self-acceptance opened. Let's just take a moment and breathe that story in so far. We have the two qualities and characteristics of Christmas, intuition and acceptance. Let's just breathe that in and allow it to settle within us and tell us all that we need to know about what it means to us today. And before we move into the next portion of our story, I simply have one question to ask you. Do you hear what I hear?
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, high up in the sky, with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to a shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Sing that with me. Do you hear what I hear? I do one more time. Do you hear what I hear? There you go. Singing through the night, shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know? In your palace warm, mighty king, do you know what I know? A child sleeping in the cold, let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Said the king to the people everywhere, listen to what I say. Pray for peace, people everywhere. Listen to what I say. I say, he's sleeping in the cold. He's sleeping in the night. Let us bring him goodness and light. Let us bring him goodness and light. Do you hear what I hear? Do you see what I see? Do you know what I know?
As our story continues, we are told of the angel of the Spirit that appeared to some shepherds who were watching over their sheep by night, and a great fear came over them. "You have nothing to fear," the angel said. "I come to proclaim good news to you and tidings of good joy. Let this be a sign to you. In a manger you will find an infant wrapped in swaddling clothes." Suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men." The shepherds agreed to travel to Bethlehem to witness this event. The Bible offers us many stories and insight to this message that support us today. In each story that we read about, we can find characteristics that are part of our true selves and part of those in our lives today. The shepherds represent the watchfulness of our higher self. Like the shepherds, when we move away from fear, we can move closer to love, acceptance, and compassion. As we consider the love in the child, we can seek love in the eyes of one another. We can embrace one another with hearts of compassion. Like the shepherds who keep watch over their flock at night and in times of fear, so too does our higher self call us forth to live in a place of watchfulness for all people. The faithful love of the shepherd towards their flock is the divine love that we are called to give to the world. It's the same love. We are called to keep watch over one another, demonstrating goodwill to all people, all the time, all humankind. The Dalai Lama gives us this quote: "Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive." May we be reminded that when we love one another, we will bridge the world together as one. It truly is not that difficult to hold the space for others, to just allow one another to be the true expressions of who we are, without judgment, without criticism. We can lead our hearts, we can lead with our hearts and know that the power of love is here today, and we can express that beautiful, amazing compassion. So today, and every day, let us remind ourselves and one another of all we can give and all we can receive, because those two actions work together. The more we give, the more we receive. And let us consider all that we have today to be thankful for.
Some days we forget to look around us, and sometimes we just can't see the world of joy that surrounds us. We get so caught up inside ourselves. We take when we could give. And so tonight we pray for what we cannot see. And today we hope for what we know can be. It's up to us to be the change, even though we know we can do more. There's so much to be thankful for. Look beyond ourselves. We all know there's so much sorrow. And it's far too late to say we're gonna go cry tomorrow. Each of us has a truth so long overdue, and tonight we pray for what we all can't see, and today we hope for what we all can be. It's up to us to be the change, even though we know we can do more. There's so much to be thankful for. Even with our differences, we're all connected. Isn't it time to see each other's light? And so tonight, let's all pray for what we cannot see. And today, let's keep on hoping for what we know can be. It's up to us to be the change, even though we know we can do more. There's so much to be thankful, so much to be thankful, so much to be thankful for.
So as we simply bask in that idea of gratitude, thankfulness, we're going to take a moment here and offer our offering for today. And this is an opportunity for anyone who chooses to give financial support towards New Dawn, knowing that we take this and give this out to the greater community. And so if the ushers will get ready. And we're going to speak our affirmation blessing together. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing the presence of God blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all I give, and all I receive, and so it is. So at this time in our story, we find that there were astrologers who arrived in Jerusalem, and they were asking the question, where's the newborn king? We have observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage. King Herod overheard this. He was very disturbed by this news. So he sent them to Bethlehem, and he instructed them, go, get detailed information about this child. And once you have found him, report it back to me, so I too may go and pay homage. They followed the star to a manger where they found the child. They brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And as they gazed upon the child, they were overcome with love and a deeper sense of connection. Then they received a message in a dream that told them not to return to Herod. So they went back to their own country by a different route. You know, the Bible offers us great insight into our lives and into our world, even today. Each story is so rich with representation of our feelings, our expressions, and our emotions. Because you see, in the story, King Herod represents our ego. That idea of separateness, limitation, and a little bit narrow-mindedness. It is the message we are constantly telling ourselves that somehow we are different instead of we are connected. It is the message that there can only be one path to the divine, and this is simply not true, because there are many paths. The three kings represent the trinity of diversity. The three kings represent all nations, religions, and spiritual paths that have come together as one. The kings represent these gifts with all they have to offer to the world. Gold, which is a symbol of unlimited prosperity for all people who will receive it. Frankincense, which represents the sweetness of life when our thoughts rise above the differences and we come together as one. And myrrh represents the oils of healing, peace, and freedom to all who understand that we must come together in order to heal. Dear Desmond Tutu gives us this quote: "The God who existed before any religion counts on you to make the oneness of the human family known and celebrated." So here we are, we're left with the reminder of oneness. We're reminded to seek the gifts that we each have for each other and that we have to offer, to look at our connection and let go of a need to feel separate or different from one another. You see, my friends, it doesn't matter what you believe, whether you are practicing the ways of Judaism, Islam, Buddha. There are many paths, and there is one human family. We are called and reminded of love. We are reminded to embrace all people, just as the story teaches. As we look again at this story of old, we have replaced the tower that was built, the tower of separateness. Remember the tower? Mm-hmm. And we have embraced the single language of love once again. The pathways we celebrate symbolize the beautiful traits and characteristics of the season. Regardless of who you are, regardless of how you are, what your personal preferences are, we are one. As we move from this place today, we're reminded of the many, many expressions of the diversity of all people, the many religions, all of creation. You see, Christmas is more than a story of a child in a manger. That child was born and often referred to as the Christ. And that child grew and gave us an example of the Christ consciousness that lives within each and every one of us. We have the power within us today to accept our diversity and embrace one another in compassion and love. We are the divine energy and power on the planet that leads us all to true peace. We are the eyes, the hands, the feet, and the heart of the divine, and each one of us carries within us the Christ light. So today I remind you that Christmas is not a time or a season. It is a state of mind, a state of being. To cherish peace and goodwill, to demonstrate acceptance and compassion is to have the real spirit of Christmas. Many have said today, recently, I don't feel it this year. It just doesn't feel right to me. Something is missing. I encourage each and every one of you to just breathe in, breathe out, and know it will return to you in perfect timing when you're ready. It hasn't gone away. It has not been lost. Let us also today remind ourselves of those we hold in our hearts who have made their transition from this planet, and they're no longer here with us, but they remain in our hearts. Let us remember those who serve in the armed forces and who are estranged and those who are estranged in our lives, maybe someone we haven't spoken to in some time. Let us remember the refugees, the homeless, the victims of acts of violence. Let us include all of these people in our prayers and in our hearts as we remember the light within each of us and realize we can shine it upon one another. Let us leave here this afternoon and carry with us that gentle spirit of Christmas. Let us remember to tap into our intuition for guidance, to choose acceptance over prejudice. Let us embrace one another with our hearts of compassion, allowing one another to express freely and be who they truly are. And may we remember today and every day our oneness, our connection, and may we bless all humankind. Please join me in prayer. Breathing into this space, into this time, right here and right now, I know in this moment, in this place, in this very building spirit, God is present. Whatever name we choose to call it, it does not matter. It is a being, an energy, a power within each and every one of us. It is that higher knowing. It is here now. And it did not just show up, it came in with each and every one of us, and it will leave this building with us. And those who are watching online will be carried by this as well, because all of us have this beautiful, creative being, presence, energy within us. And it is gifted to us not to necessarily hold on and keep sacred and quiet within ourselves, but to share with the world, to share with the planet. And what a perfect time to do this at this time of, we call the time of light, the time of love, the time of giving, this Christmas season. How beautiful it is to know this, to know that we are never alone. We are always accompanied by the divine. And let us always remember the stories of old and the beautiful messages that we received. Maybe we haven't heard them since we were children. And yet we can embrace them and we can hold them in our hearts and we can carry them forward today, tomorrow, and going forward. Blessing all people, loving one another, shining our beautiful, incredible lights. So what I know today, right here, right now, is all people everywhere are blessed by God. They're blessed by the beauty and the presence of this season. Let us give thanks for each and every one. Let us support others in feeding those who are hungry and clothing those who are cold and giving beverage to those who are thirsty, whatever it takes. Perhaps it's just holding the presence, connecting with someone heart to heart. Let us be those beautiful ambassadors of love as we go forward from this afternoon. I give thanks for all of this. I give thanks for the very privilege to be here, to speak these words, to hold this space for my beloved community and everyone on this planet. I call it good. I call it perfect, and by God, I know it is already done. So we just let it go and let it be as we say together, and so it is.
I keep thinking there's going to be announcements. It's not happening. Would you do me the great honor? I mean, it is Christmas Eve, right? And I haven't pushed you really hard yet, right? Let's sing this together, shall we? How about it? Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Very good. Let your heart be light. Give me all you got. From now, there you go. Our troubles will be out of sight. And you know it's true, and you know I'd love to hear you sing. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Next year, all our problems will be miles away. Ooh, here we are as in golden days, happy olden days of yore. Friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we're all gonna get together if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough. Yes, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. One more time, yeah. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Yay! Yay, yay, yay!
Merry Christmas, everyone. Hello. I'm Reverend Jen Wild, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.